everybody. Todd Denkin here with TNM News for another Todd Talk. And of course, who are we going to talk to today? We're going to talk to my very good friend and colleague and TNM News correspondent all the way from Puerto Rico. She has been making edibles pretty much as long as I've known her and way before that. She's been in the cannabis space for as long as there's been a cannabis space, that's for sure. Her knowledge of cannabis and weed science is really unparalleled. So please say hello to my dear friend, Edible D. What's happening?
Hey, ¿qué está pasando, mano? What's going on? Oh, check it out. My shoulder. It's going away.
Kind of disappears, right,
How
as you
fast I'm
dance.
dancing. That's how fast
That's
she's got
right.
moves too. Thank you for that
Serious
intro.
moves.
Thank you for that
Serious
intro.
moves.
And you saw now that I got moves to add to that fabulous intro. Thank you, Todd Denkin. Yes, Todd and I have worked. We worked. Let me see. I was the first manufacturing to open up in the state of Nevada, and my friend over here ran the lab.
That's right.
So we had lots of learning and R&D and that whole timeline. Wow, how times have they
I know.
changed?
Can you believe it's been 10 years since Nevada went legal? It's crazy. I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah, I had to think about that when because my first cookbook, The Happy Chef Expert, which I see you have back there in there. I have to pull mine over here and but for its 10-year anniversary, I had which was last year. Or was it last year or the year before? 2013. So 2023, last year,
Yeah.
I launched it in as a 10-year anniversary. I launched my book. My whole series now is in Spanish also. So I
Nice.
launched Police. And I actually recently was awarded for that in the Can Expo, the Cannabis Literary Expo in Canada, where they Author's Choice Award they gave me because what did they say? I brought diversity to cannabis education
Nice.
because I was the only author to have ever submitted her works in another language.
Wow.
And it kind of is funny because when I decided to do that, I made that choice to translate my works for multiple reasons. One, because as you know, I uprooted my life
Right.
from
Right.
the beautiful west coast of our United States to moving down to Puerto Rico, where my partner and all of my business partners, I have to learn the language. So not only translating my works helped me in learning more of the language. It also, I realized when I did it, I did research because you know me, how rabbit hole and how I
Yeah.
have to know everything.
Yeah.
So before I even wrote my cannabis cookbook, I bought like everyone that I could find to see like what everyone was doing, and I made sure that I did mine different.
Right.
And that was when I think we did an interview about this, that I felt like all authors were just copycatting each other because they were all doing the same formula of 4 sticks of butter and an ounce of weed, 4 sticks of butter and an ounce of weed. There's
Right.
nothing in there about dosing. It was all, let's get you very stoned on the couch for a month.
Right.
And
Right.
nothing about getting, and that, kids, is why everyone has a bad edible experience.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
So make sure you get to your local dispensary and buy some regulated edibles.
There you go. We're the pros. We infuse it for you, dosify it for you, and make it into matters that you can consume more safely.
Yeah.
Than just salt baying it and seeing where it takes you.
Right.
But
That's so funny.
I noticed because I had already had all the cookbooks, but I noticed also just doing a little bit of diligence and a little surfing on the web that there's very, very minimal, and there was actually, I did not find one cannabis cookbook or cannabis educational text of any kind in Spanish or French or German. Like it was interesting. Like I saw that gap that was missing in our industry, and I found it to be surprising because I mean, 5 years ago, I did a consult down in Colombia and Costa Rica, and and there you go, there she is. She'll be a year old here, just on our upcoming holiday,
I know.
420.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's great. And how's it been received in your new homeland and
well,
across Latin America?
it won an award. I got diversity as an author for bringing diversity to
Yeah.
cannabis education, which is awesome. And then here it's selling fabulous. I've
Nice.
actually built up a nice Puerto Rican fan base
Yeah.
from not just my published works, but also my edible works here.
Right.
And I work like there's few of us that I find as I gain, because I work as a consultant, you know this. I'm a consultant now and formulator. I am still partnered in a license in California, but my main job is I make brands their brand. I give them their menu. I most of the time, like this will be my 18th kitchen actually down here in Puerto Rico. I've designed, blueprinted, built out everything. And this is my second kitchen with this current client. The client that I have here extended my contract, and my products were so good and are literally the top selling on the island that we outgrew our current kitchen. So I have to now design a bigger kitchen in another part of the building, and get some more equipment and add on some more products. So
Seems like a very good problem to have.
these are always problems,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's
It's
talk
like,
about your new products. Let's talk about what you got coming out and what you've recently released. Because clearly, the island of Puerto Rico is pretty happy with everything you're doing.
oh yeah,
So what do you got going on?
damn.
Nice.
No, I got I
Yeah,
mean,
hold
I
them
have,
up. Let's take a look.
okay. Let's see here. These are just a few. Let me see, I have 29 product SKUs right now
Wow.
out available.
Hmm.
And I offer different multiple things for my patients, because as I tell everybody, I work for them. I work for you, at the end of the day. And I like to find gaps in markets. I always assess little bit of regional marketing, and regional marketing is always important. And I feel like a lot of people miss that because they don't, as a chef, you want to dive into the culture and see, because flavors and taste buds are different in every single state, region, country that you happen to
Sure.
go.
Sure.
And also, I pride myself on my ingredients. I'm not about ready to give you diabetes or, kill you with some synthetic, artificial, yada, yada, yada that they're putting in our food these days. So everything that I make out of my kitchen is non-GMO.
Right.
And I have to go through extra links with my clients to get these things, because as you know, we can't get these certifications yet because we're still in that gray area. However, I like to properly align all of my clients with being able to get, if you want to be OU certified, which is, Orthodox Union kosher, or if you want to be kosher, or if you want to be non-GMO, if you want to be vegan, I have to line you up for that by sourcing and scouting your ingredients and your suppliers. And I try to make my products as, very healthy and to the locals. Most of my products, I get local produce and like whatever I can find here on the island. And then all of my flavoring, I use no artificial colorings. All my flavoring is organic, and they are delicious. And the lineup I got.
What do you do for sugar?
What do I do for sugar?
Yeah.
Sugar is huge down here.
Yeah.
Dulce Cana, man.
Yeah.
We got brown sugar. I got raw cane sugar. I got every form of sugar you can possibly. You want big crystals, you want them finely granulated, and then you can
What
even get them finely granulated, not on animal char, so you could
r-
hit the vegan mark.
which do you like to use? Because sugar is obviously the killer in our diets these days.
I think
So
excess would be that one.
yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Um, uh,
Mhm.
and you say you have some vegan recipes as well?
Yes, I'm going to be doing some like fruit roll-ups and fruit roll-up strips. I have a lot of vegan gummies, as well as I also am doing a protein bite nut clusters that the staff, we've all nicknamed D's nuts, because
I
your
get it.
girl.
Oh, oh, that reference. See, I went the
Yes.
complete other direction with that. For
See, there you go. And that's no sugar. I actually work and caramelize agave for those ones.
nice.
And even though, like, it's funny me saying that, I realize sometimes when I have these conversations how also detached, due to the fact that our world was kind of manufactured for everyone to basically give up, their health for convenience,
Right.
so no one really cooks
And
at home.
cost. Right.
And cost. Well,
Yeah.
convenience is part of cost. And so because of that reason, majority of, especially America, but a majority of society has become so detached from food and what real food actually is,
Yeah.
that they actually, and for instance, I was about ready to say I made a nut cluster, and, but the consumer's label for foods is quite different from what a botanist would say, right? Because a botanist would tell you, most people don't even know that a peanut's not a nut, you know. It actually falls into the legume category, because it comes in a pod, because the botanists, they look at and assess the whole plant versus, a consumer looks at it and it's brown and it's in a shell and it's there. It's obviously a nut, which is technically classified as a fruit. But, knowing where your products and your food are coming from and knowing what's going in your body is ultimately your best achievement to getting overall success and taking control of your health.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And sugar, it's because of access. Sugar and acid is in everything.
Yeah.
It's hard to get away from.
It really is hard to get away from.
Preservatives, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why
I've actually been on a no sugar diet. And it's very difficult to find any kind of food with no sugar, right? Literally everything has sugar, but it all depends on what kind of sugar, and how the sugar in that particular product metabolizes, right? With what's going on in my actually my upper intestine. But it's been interesting being on this no sugar diet. It's funny. The one thing I miss the most, Altoids. Isn't that weird?
Altoid.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I really don't miss anything else.
In years. I don't even think I've had those in like a decade. Wow.
Right. I literally sit. I stare at them. Right. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I could have one of those. Now
you're just torturing yourself.
Right. Exactly.
It's like you're on a diet and you're just keeping donuts in front of you.
Right. Exactly. But it's in the standard pot smoker kit, right? There's the red eye stuff, and there's the Altoids and a little cologne, right? It goes in the kit.
So. Yeah, that's true. I always liked them because I always kept my weed in there.
That's right.
When the Altoids, you remember when they first came out? Right, I remember when Altoids first came out, when it was just that one flavor, the red box.
Right.
Now they got peppermint and all kinds of things going on.
Things, yeah.
Cinnamon.
It is a really good spot to stash your joints. Also.
Always.
Yeah, So what else been going on? I know you're writing a ginormous book. We talked about it last time.
Yes.
And let's bring us up to date on where you are.
Well, it's good. Well, this has been my biggest baby yet. This is gonna be a hard one to push out because this one is over 400 pages and it's literally very much so a textbook. I've got workshops in there. I've got Q&As in there. I've got terms. I've got tests and quizzes. Because again, like finding my part of my job is to find what's missing in the market and what would be in demand and what's needed. And to me, as being a license holder and an ex-license holder and seeing what challenges my clients have, and what I have is finding people that know how to do what we do, that also have their own passion for what we do. Because I choose passion over a paycheck any day of the week. I choose passion over a degree any day of the week. Like you can't pay people enough to care. And the passionate ones and the lifers like myself and you, and like Kenji and some of our dear friends, they're becoming less and less, and I'm seeing the new wave of people that are coming into this space for merely business, and because of which we're losing a lot of the attributes and the characteristics and the traits that we all love. Like we're more
like
of
the culture, even.
We're the craftsmen. We're the craftsmen. Yeah. We want it to be. We want it to be that we're going to smoke it. You and I don't go in there and buy pre-rolls. Exactly.
Thank you.
And we're not going to say why. It's just our thing. We're old school, and we're in that sacral ceremony of rolling a J. It's just it's the culture. Exactly what you said. And I find it that if those of us in the culture, we're all older now. We're all doing our own thing. We're either in licenses, or some of us actually got weeded out. Pardon the pun. But with this new wave coming in, I'm realizing the gap in knowledge and experience. And I see this as becoming a thing where you actually are going to have to go to school and get a chemistry degree. And, you're going to have to get certified and get a degree to do what we do. So I wanted to make sure as a public, I already have I'm a 3-time published author, and my cookbooks are more science than they are, equal, I guess would equally be more science as they are a cookbook. But cooking is a science, cooking is chemistry. So and with all of the, just the tests that you and I did at DigiPath, like I have all the data of all of my certificates of analysis and all of my lab tests. I know what binds well with certain, I know what fats bind well with the plant. I know which degrees of the matter of cannabis, whether it's live rosin to isolate to distillate. I know what binds and what works best and what homogenizes best. I know with the flash point and the smoke point and the boiling points of the terpenes and the cannabinoids that I lose per recipe, which is why, and that's why I give my clients a little bit of an edge, because I steer them in ways, because it's everyone always wants to do everything,
Yeah.
But some things, especially if you're low on capital, you don't necessarily want to do. Like I always steer my clients away from doing baking right away, because baking equipment is very expensive.
Right.
And also the shelf life. And you know this as well as I do, that the oil and depending on the matter, because matter matters, the isolate, the oil, all of it cures and dries out your product even more so. Like, that cookie actually like dries out faster, no matter if you put the, silicone packets in there and you fill it full of nitrogen, no matter what, it's still like that brownie, that cookie. And I'm such a perfectionist. I want that brownie to taste exactly the way it did when it popped out of my oven. So, dealing with more medicinal side, tinctures, things that have a little bit more shelf life to them, I wanted to accumulate all of those into a textbook with also the different varieties of extraction, because this is something that people are going to need to do. And this is something that people are going to need to get certified in, because as you know, it's very hard to find people qualified, that are in it. Like, I don't want to hire you just for you to leave in three months. I want to hire you
and open your own shop. Right.
There you go. Exactly.
Because you did it once. Right.
Because you did it once. Now you know everything.
Right.
Away with you. Yeah.
Let's talk about some science real quick. Let's talk about what your opinions are based on all of this research on the best way to infuse edibles, right? Because some people inject it with a syringe, some people bake it into the butter, some people mix it into the gelatin for the gummies, right? What is the best way to really get the most efficient and homogeneous edible?
Like I was saying before, it depends on the recipe. This is not something putting something in a market that's a commodity that is shelf stable and ready in a package. Is quite different from chef to cuisine, where if you hire a chef that's a restaurant chef, you're dealing with a 45-minute table turnaround, and you don't have to deal with preservatives or mold or any of the fun stuff that we get to test in the lab, and have to deal with things. You don't have to worry about humidity issues like I have to do in the islands. Depending on where you are in our beautiful world, everything matters. And when it comes to the recipes, I have noticed a lot that I get, I do infusions in multiple ways. I do them obviously with the magnetic stir homogenizers, and I bite them to a fat, MCT oil, MCT coconut oil. But depending on the flash point in the recipe, you're going to have to change the fat process. Like, as you said, some people infuse the gelatin. I have noticed that it seems like gelatin, animal base, binds better and is more homogeneous than any plant-based gelling agent that I've worked with, whether it be agar-agar, whether it be red algae, a vegan gelatin, a pectin. I do notice there is a bond. I guess for me, it kind of I look at it as like the circle of life. Like, what Mufasa said, we die and our bodies become the grass, and then the antelope eat us. It's, kind of like you feeding cannabis fish meal. It's that's the same thing as like I think there's a bond between animals and plants. So I guess technically it's not vegan friendly, of course, but I do find that they homogenize better, that they hold better, that they do. But this going more organic, you have less shelf stability.
Sure.
In your ingredients than you ever can. So
right, but I'm guessing that you don't need a lot of shelf life for your products, because they seem to be flying off the shelves, huh?
Not so much. Especially these babies, the ones that I just showed you. And this was a great test that I did. I did single serving for our market, and just because economy, people are hurting. I want you to still be able to get your medicine. I also want you to taste the rainbow.
Sure.
To
Yeah.
get a little bit of variety. I want you want to try my mango pina. It's delicious. Go ahead, get that. Get the sour key lime,
Yeah.
sour strawberry. Go ahead and get the parcha, the passion fruit. That one's a fire one too. And ooh, don't forget hibiscus. Is that this one's money also.
Nice.
But
Let-
you make it available, and if you work to the patient, and if most people can get disconnected, if they're in a different, I guess, tax bracket than others, that they don't understand how many patients and how many people out there are actually hurting financially. So giving them a lower price point is always best option. And it also taught me to test the markets and see which products I wanted to bring in a multi-pack.
Right. Right. Nice. Let me ask you. You've written a bunch of books about edibles and how to do things, and you really give out this knowledge pretty freely, right? And a lot of people think about this industry and other industries too, but
I
a lot in this industry where I have the secret sauce, right? I have the perfect, and you're not going to see my recipe, but you're not like that. You like to give out this knowledge. Why do you do that? And what do you get from educating folks?
Honestly, that's why I'm in it. That is completely why I'm in it, is because the more you know, the better judge you are. I'm the person that goes in the grocery store and reads every single label and every single ingredient and knows everything that I'm putting in my body. You should have the same honor to do that when you go to the dispensary, and you should be able to trust your products. There's reasons why I put my face on my cookbooks too. I stand behind everything that I do, every recipe, every formula that I have. I also gave it people a base formula. Now, can they work off that? Sure. Do they have the experience to bring it into manufacturing like myself, that's had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of batches under her belt? And maybe. But what
Right,
I
right,
but what I want you to do is be able to dose yourself safely. At the end of the day, like, my job is to make it taste good and to dose it
right.
correctly.
So
So,
you're
but
really all about self-care, and you want folks to be able to take care of themselves. That's awesome.
I do, because we live in a time where, like, trust is really waving bye-bye the further days that go by.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of things are coming to light. As the dude, Mr. Lebowski, for you youngins, the dude says new shit has come to light.
Yes.
And people are finding out, like, whoa, like, I can't trust this anymore. Like, like recently brands, they made it a law that you have the packaging on different companies, they have to put bioengineered now. Like, on labels, they have to say this product was made with bioengineered ingredients,
Right.
so
Right.
bye bye Petridge Farms Milano cookies that I used to
And
they
most
break
everything else in a grocery store, for that matter.
They break my heart. They do, they do, but it takes me a lot less time now that after a few times of reading
Right.
all the labels and everything, now I pretty much know exactly the brands that are safe. I do a double check just in case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
because they are switching to the dark side.
Yeah. 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 So literally everything that's in a box that is in a grocery store is run through an X-ray machine to kill microbiology, and that technology is transferred over now to the cannabis space. And because microbiology is a big problem, mainly yeast and mold and aspergillus, as you know, is a big problem in cultivations. And now folks have been, gamma raying and X-raying their cannabis before it gets to the shelf, just in order to pass a test, which is completely legal. And it's in the remediation section of doing things. But now the big fight is: do we should we have to label this cannabis has been X-rayed or not? Just like what you're seeing with the new bioengineering in food. So, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it matters? Number one, and number two, do you think the consumer should know all of this?
Again, matters, and absolutely. Like I said, the consumer label versus with a botanist label, it's like they almost don't even know how to talk to each other.
Sure.
If I talk to most people and I say, hey, go get me some fruits, get me tomatoes, squash, and cucumber. And like people would look at me funny. They'd be like, I thought those were vegetables. I'd be like,
Right.
no, they're fruits. Did you know watermelon is considered a berry? Same as cucumbers. And nuts are considered fruits also.
Yeah.
And certain nuts like pecans, almonds are not nuts. They're in the legume family or the drupe family. So people like to put labels on things, as we well know. I think that everyone, now I'm a birthing person, and but our labels change all the time. I'm a birthing person, influencer. Now we're called influencers if you have some kind of following on Instagram.
Right.
And to me, I didn't know what an influencer was. I had I had to ask people because I looked at it and I said, that's cool that people, and in all due respect, if you want to be an influencer, of course, but I always thought, I'm an author. I'm an author, I'm a consultant, I'm a formulator, and with the definitions of the world of influencer, like the president is an influencer. So it's like almost like we all have a different label and title depending on, you know, whose perspective is viewing it, really.
Yeah, I think any kind of role in any kind of leadership, right? You're influencing other people, and you're right, you are an influencer, and folks need direction and need education, right? So, who's the reader of your new science book?
I'm actually hoping, I'm not hoping, I'm shopping it to universities, but I
Mhm.
am making it available for the people to be able to buy.
Mhm.
But it's going to be the cost of, a normal textbook cost. But I'm hoping that, with this, I also wrote a syllabus and, wrote the curriculum
Oh wow,
to
nice.
have this taught in universities and college, whether it be a cannabis community college or a community college or even a university. Some universities that are well known for agriculture, like Virginia Tech or something like that. I hope to be able to open the door there to at least having people get into this industry and love it just as much as I do. Because you got to be loving it to be able to still be in it like us.
Oh,
You
that's
got
for
to love
sure.
it because there's no way we would stay.
It is a grind, and it's
There's no way we would stay.
sometimes it's really really tough to make money.
You're like, this is what we're doing now. This is
Right.
this is
Yeah.
really what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah. The funny thing is that the perception is that, we're just racking and stacking cash. There's so much cash in the cannabis, but, we're just shoveling it into our pile, right? There's so much
Yeah.
of it. What's the
They
industry
have no
like?
idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely hard work. But what's the industry like in Puerto Rico? And now that it's matured a little bit.
It's medical now still, which I actually love. I actually love it being medical. Markets can stay medical. I see that a lot of markets start to like level out and tank out when they decide to go rec. And I know that's where all the big money is, but here I feel like I have more control. I feel like I'm more in touch with the patients and with the market, and that's important to me. As well, I believe that there's more care and safety measures when you keep things medical.
You're right.
Uh, However, I did came from multiple recreational markets, California and Nevada being two of them, and I love it all. But
Well, Puerto Rico,
the patient community here is beautiful.
yeah. Well, Puerto Rico also is a big medical tourism state because healthcare is very cheap there, right?
It's all right. I would
A
say.
lot of plastic surgery, a lot of a lot of surgeries are
There-
done
there-
in Puerto Rico. Like when you watch TV, you could see come to Puerto Rico, get your operation, and you get to hang out on the beach.
Well, I didn't know that. You're gonna have to forward me some of those commercials. I
Oh
haven't
yeah,
seen those.
yeah. Well, you're probably not spending any time watching TV. You're always in the kitchen, right?
I'm always in a windowless lab. Yes, pretty much. Or
So,
I'm in writing, with my hair in a bun, and I haven't left my house for like a
right,
week or something.
right, right. So, Todd, when could we expect the release of this textbook?
Release will be at the end of this year. It should be December 1st is the date. So I'm going to be doing a soft launch of it, probably the end of August.
Mhm.
And so I'll be sending
You couldn't
you
make it on 710.
fruits.
Couldn't make
Huh?
it on 710.
I could push it. I could push it, but I wanted to get it out before, but before the school year kind of
Yeah.
thing. But But maybe I will push it to 710. I like those dates.
I do. I do. I do. I do. Anything else going on that we should know about?
Oh, let me see. I told you about the textbook, Manufacturing Cannabis, which is the alchemy of cannabis extraction and manufacturing. And
And here's what it looks like right here. Obviously, yeah.
That's right. It's the art of cannabis alchemy. And then we have, let me say, I have a legal criminal, my autobiography that'll be coming out. And then I will drop this. I'll drop the title of my next cookbook. Just the title, no covers. But I am my work because I have to be doing something fun along with this textbook because this textbook is very mind,
I'm sure it's a
a
grind.
lot of mind work.
Yeah.
So I had to do something fun in the mix. So I'm working on releasing, which hopefully will be by mid next year will be out, is Follow the White Rabbit. And that's all I'm going to say there. That's all I'm going to say. That's all you get. That's all you get.
Does it have to do with maybe a follow-up to Delic Dishes?
Maybe, perhaps. You might be onto something there,
I
Todd.
think I just got a scoop right here at TNM News.
Yeah, he's got the
Follow
inside scoop.
the White Rabbit. This close to Easter. And we're the White Rabbit. Well,
Hey, maybe I'll launch it next year on Easter. It'll be 420.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, next year Easter is going to be on 420.
That's what I said.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. All right. Well, it's always great to see you. Always great to hear from you. Always nice to hear that you are thriving in Puerto Rico. I love it there. Yeah, I love it there.
It's
And
cold over there, I hear. You should come on down
it
to
is
the
cold. Yeah, it is cold in Vegas today. That's for sure. Yeah, it's weird, strange weather. And I know it's, 78 degrees or 80 degrees and sunny every single day in Puerto Rico because I grew up in South Florida where very similar weather. You probably get a little more Caribbean sort of vibe with the rain.
80.
Yeah, about 80, right?
Pretty much 80 and sunny.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the time.
Well, that's awesome. So if you're in Puerto Rico, right, where do we find all of your edibles? Which dispensaries?
Everywhere, literally everywhere, all over the island. I don't think we're not in one, actually.
Oh,
no,
that's awesome.
We're in all of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're in all of them, and they are flying. Like my kitchen's right now working double time, overtime because of the holiday that we all know that we all are running a maniac.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. And it's edibld.com to learn more about what you're up to, and at edibld at all of the socials. Right, you have lots of socials. I know you're very active on Instagram and all at edibld. Make sure you check her out if you haven't already, and if you have, check her out again. And make sure you look for all of the periodicals that are coming out if you want to learn, which you should be learning about everything cannabis. And look for, I'm going to say around 710 because I think I put that in her brain now, and she's going to aim for that date to get her textbook out. Now she's like, shit, I got to write tonight. Right?
Pressure.
Exactly.
It's done. It's just in edits right now.
Yeah, well, that's great. Like I said, she is Edible D, my dear friend and friend of TNM News. Make sure you check her out, edibld.com, at Edible D on every single social. And make sure you look for her books on Amazon. You can see them right there, and she'll hold them up, and I'll also put them in. And, the award-winning Spanish version, right, of The Happy Chef. Make sure you check that out. Any last words, Dee?
Stay happy, stay healthy, get through the mad world. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thanks, Dee. I'm Todd Dankin with TNM News. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.